Hello everybody, and welcome back to Northern Lights. We are doing some mall things with all of our friends, you know. We have Misty, Dev, Aldrich, we're all having a grand old time. We told a spooky story to everyone. Dev be the scaredy cat, oh my god. Are you all like that when people tell ghost stories? Are you like, oh my god, I don't want to hear about them ghosts? I'm kind of like, eh. You know, it's fine. It's fine. Nope. Pretty good story, though, right? I chuckled softly as Devin let out a heavy, long sigh, the fright from the tale slipping away from his mind, all while the shepherd laughed a bit, almost smugly. See? What did I tell you? Cody tells incredible stories. What is it? How is this pronounced? The Raugarau? The Raugarau is real, though. It has to be. Where did you even hear about it up here? Cryptid Chronicles, issue 17. The article was short, but really exciting. Oh, come on, Misty. That magazine is just a bunch of fiction and dudes in costumes. Cody, hope you don't mind me asking you more questions later. This could make for a pretty great song. The lion has once again completely ignored the Doberman's denial over the reality of folklore creatures. Dyer? Oh, right. Yeah, we're at the karaoke bar. Right. I forgot about this slot already. I'd like to invite Devin and Misty up to the stage for Fly Day Chinatown. Devin cheered and jumped up onto the seat faster than a roadrunner, excitedly taking Misty's paw and leading her up to the stage. It was an odd sight, the reserved Devin actually looking forward to putting himself in the spotlight. Perhaps the fact that everyone here was no doubt a stranger helped keep his gruff exterior down. A groovy poppy tune started playing, spotlights focusing in on Devin and Misty. The pair sang in unison as the song went on. Devin, fully committed, seemingly performed the mostly Japanese lyrics flawlessly. Misty did struggle a bit to keep up the pace, but judging by the grin on their face, they clearly didn't care. Every time the chorus came back around, Devin expelled it with unrestrained passion, leaning into it as utter joy filled him. Misty intentionally held back in those moments to let the dog shine. After finishing up the song, they both stepped off the stage while sharing a laugh. As they got back to the table, the two dogs exchanged a firm high five. Aldrich and I were called up to the stage next. Oh, that's cute. The shepherd looked as handsome as ever, bathed in the colorful hues of the spotlight, his arms wrapping around me as we both stepped up to the microphones. Aldrich bobbed his head along to the beat of the music as we watched the TV screen, waiting the starting lyrics. But, Aldrich and Cody, okay. Oh, these are like the lyrics to that song. I don't really know music, guys. I think I know. I don't know this. We're not doing that. You can't pay me to do that. No karaoke content on this channel, guys. Or anywhere. I should preface that. No, never. You can't. Like I said, you cannot pay me to do it. You're not getting me to do this. Aldrich's singing voice had a raspiness to it. Untrained, rustic, so authentic that it warmed the heart. I found it deeply endearing and uniquely comforting. The way he sang didn't quite fit the poppy, booming music, but I didn't care. Together, we were making the song our own, and the down-to-earth, nature of his voice. Okie, not okay. That's not two letters flipped around, that's me, that's Okie? Okie nature of his voice added fuel to the fire inside me. We happily worked our way through the liberating lyrics. Whenever there was a break in the vocals, Aldrich would bounce on his feet, tugging me by one hand to coax me into improvised dancing. Upon wrapping our performance, we were met only with a light applause. Though we didn't care, we had a blast. Laughing together, we left the stage and headed back towards the rest of our pack.
That was kind of fun. I'm not sure I'm meant for pop music, though.
Despite the lukewarm comment, when he turned to see me, he was met by a warm gaze that conveyed how much I enjoyed the experience regardless. You were amazing.
Oh, I'm glad you were up there with me. I couldn't have asked for a better duet partner.
You guys were great, and the chemistry, absolutely electrifying.
Thanks for this, guys. Was nice just getting to let loose for a bit.
Aldrich gave Devin a pat on the shoulder, and the four of us made our way out of the karaoke bar. Our time singing together had us all charged with more energy than we knew what to do with, and so it was time to set out into the mall. After all, half my paycheck was burning a hole in my wallet. So, where do you guys want to shop first?
I'd like to stop by Chef's Corner, see if they got any good knives in.
Oh, that'd be good. Vinny set me up with some nice basics, but I'll need a couple more things to cook up some truly great feasts.
Anything that results in you two cooking, I'm all in.
Devin leads the charge through the mall, heading straight for the kitchen supply store. It was a relatively small place, but stuffed so tight with shelving and items on sale, you had to walk sideways through most of it. The Doberman made a beeline for the knife display, while I wandered about with Aldrich looking for a good stock pot. Okay. You ever had a seafood boil up here?
Can't say I have.
Well, that's not good. A 16-quart pot then, so we can fill that hole in your life as soon as possible.
Oh, they really that good?
Better than heaven, I'd say. What about any special desserts like this? Pies? Oh, that you like, sorry. Picking a large pot up from the floor, I only had to inspect it briefly before deciding it would work well.
I love a good apple pie. Slice of cheddar on it, oh, and brownies.
Those are certainly in my top 3. Only thing that beats them is beignets. The shepherd tilted his head, ears flicking at the mention of beignets. He took the heavy pot from me and followed behind as I looked for the baking section.
What are beignets?
Best way I could describe them is like eating a sweet fluffy cloud. Really puffy, fried dough, covered with honey and a mountain of powdered sugar. Aldrich's eyes widened, licking his lips for a moment as he seemed to ponder on what I was describing. My tail thumping on the floor while a smile across my face, rather excited to learn that the shepherd had a bit of a sweet tooth.
That sounds amazing.
I figure I'll put together a proper Cajun feast for everyone at some point. Good food, great desserts, amazing company. The shepherd enthusiastically nodded in agreement, continuing to follow me around the shop. I picked up a few other items to make dessert, baked and fried, as well as a nice cast iron skillet. We walked past Devin, who was currently inspecting a large cleaver. Is that what I say? Cleaver? Okay. Testing the heft of it in his paw, eyeing its quality.
You mind if we head to Fairbrooks next? I'd like to pick up a couple pairs of jeans.
Yeah, that way I could grab some warmer clothes as well.
Oh yeah?
Although Audric and I were walking side by side, unexpectedly, he reached over and stroked a paw against my exposed stomach. Claws are raking through silken fur. A tremble of excitement ran through every inch of me, and I briefly felt weak in my knees, as though I thought I just wanted to collapse right into his arms.
Guess I'll have to enjoy this as much as I can before those pesky cold weather really sets in.
As Aldrich kept walking, I stood frozen in place, trembling with delight over the way he touched me. Coming around to my senses, I hurried after him, briefly eyeing a bear getting their ears pierced at a stall. The department store was fairly large, and I followed Aldrich over to the men's section. Soon enough, I was shopping through a selection of sweaters for myself, plus a heavy coat. Though as I tried on a few things, a stall we'd walked past on the way here kept coming back to mind. As staring at myself in the changing room once more, I ended up eyeing up my appearance. I actually loved having my stomach exposed, even more so after seeing how much Aldrich enjoyed it. He was quite forward about his attraction just now. Maybe it was just past time to do something about it. The whole night had so far been so exhilarating. I felt like I was floating up in a cloud, the total acceptance for my new pack leaving me roaring to go just a bit further with my new look. As we waited in the checkout line, I spoke up, eager to propose what I'd resolved to do next. Hey, Aldrich, I was wondering something. I thought maybe you could weigh in.
What's up, Cody?
Do you think I'd look good with a pierced ear? Not as many as Devin, but I want a way for the world to always know. To be proud of what I am, all the time. I'd heard the stories, of course. The way you could spot a gay guy without having to say a word. The mere thought of it would have terrified me in the past. But this way, my own life now, my future, my truth, I didn't want to parade it around. But neither did I wish to leave this part of myself hidden away, save for the people I trusted.
I think a little stud would look great on you. Though I wouldn't mind being the big stud in you.
The shepherd chuckled, bearing his biggest grin yet, and I nearly paused out from how hot in the face that bold piece of flirting had left me feeling. He clearly approved, though, so I made up my mind. After we paid for our things, I confidently guided the shepherd to the piercing booth just outside the store. I looked into the glass case, eyeing all of these small and simple studs. Heart racing as I talked to the piercer, I examined a few of these small silver, round options. Picking one out, I walked around the corner, the counter, to take a seat in the piercing chair. It was the next step in my journey, setting a way forward that would leave no room for doubt in my mind. Even in a bundle of winter clothing, I'd be able to look in the mirror and proudly spot my resolute statement to the world at large. I'm gay and proud. I closed my eyes that the attendant lined up for the piercing tool, but flinching at a sudden sharp pinch, the pain dissipated as swiftly as it started, after it'd been inserted. Opening my eyes to see a mirror held in front of me, a novel tiny shimmer of silver on my right ear caught my eye, inspiring a smile to creep across my muzzle. Aldrich met it with an ear-to-ear grin, his eyes shining as he gave a firm nod of approval at my new accessory.
It suits you, Otter.
I turned my head a bit, making the silver studs shimmer and glisten. Any remnant of doubt I might have had before had vanished without a trace. Another step forward, affirming control over my life. Completed. Thank you, Aldrich. I'm glad you like it. Our last stop, before meeting up with Devin, was the art supply store. I picked up some additional supplies and even managed to score a decent-sized easel on clearance, since part of it was damaged. Aldrich convinced me that he'd have no trouble fixing it up, so I could set up a proper little art corner in my apartment for the semester ahead. After that was done, we reunited with Dev and Misty just outside the main entrance. The lioness loaded down with a few bags, while Devin's single bag had a few manga poking out. What a weeb. It was really nice meeting you, Cody. I look forward to... Oh, wait. Misty suddenly stepped quite close to me, and leaned in to inspect my freshly pierced ear, smiling softly before pulling me into a hug. Oh, sweetie, you look gorgeous with that piercing. You're amazing. Really? Y'all like it also?
It suits you. Not too flashy, but hey, welcome to the club. Be careful now. You'll probably end up craving more in the future.
Devin let out a soft laugh, stopping after Misty pulled him into another brief, Into another, though brief, headlock, playfully dragging him along. Okay, that sentence really got away from me, didn't it?
Hey, Misty, I think I've got everyone's class schedule lined up now. So, how about you guys feel about going camping? End of next week. We'd be starting Friday and be back in time for Fall Fest on Saturday.
Works for me. I'll get our gear together. That would be perfect. If we wait much longer, it'll get too cold. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I was beyond myself for a chance to get back out into the forest. Another night under the stars alongside good friends. Tobin, Liam, and I always had our best experiences whenever we camped outside the city. Misty gave each of us one final hug before waving and heading off toward where she parked. Devin, Aldrich, and I made our way back to the shepherd's truck. After stowing our bags in the truck's rear, the shepherd drew a tarp over them to cover them from view. My eyes drifted across the parking lot. I spotted a movie theater attached to the mall. Hey, would you guys like to catch a film before we head back?
Oh, I don't see why not. All right with you, Dev.
Sure, don't have classes tomorrow anyway. We made our way towards the far end of the mall, joining a short line in front of the movie theater. What do you guys want to watch? Aldrich and I glanced over a few show times, still coming up as such a late hour. Back to the Future, A View to Kill, The Breakfast Club, slim pickings for sure.
View to Kill is a James Bond one, I think. I love a good action movie.
Explosions are always fun. Sounds good to me. How about you, Devin? It was then that I noticed the Doberman staring well past the ticket booth to the inside of the theater, his gaze fixed on a large array of arcade cabinets and pinball tables. Excuse me, neatly set up inside. I'd skip the movie. I've got me some high scores to set. Well, he's one of those people. Okay. Aldrich chuckled, watching Devin rub his paws together and walk inside with hurried and excited steps. The moment we reached the counter, I had my wallet out, way before Aldrich had the chance.
Oh, come on! Let me pay!
No way, it's my turn!
Oh well, I'm buying the snacks then.
In short order, we had our tickets. A pack of licorice? Is that how that's pronounced? Licorice for Aldrich, and a bucket of popcorn to share. Walking past the arcade, we found Devin intensely engaged in Mrs. Pac-Man. The late hour of the film's showing had left the theater completely empty. It was just the pair of us, taking our seats towards the front. Even after the room darkened, the trailers rolled and the film got underway. Only 2 more groups had come in, each sitting more towards the back.
Almost have the place to ourselves.
The shepherd spoke with a whisper, setting more into his seat as the movie rolled. The 2 of us quietly watched the latest spy thriller. Oh, look at him. Look at this little chunter. Aldrich let out a long yawn about an hour into the film, arms stretching out, one coming to rest over my shoulder, and gripping my right arm with a squeeze. The embrace almost melted me into a puddle where I sat, sighing peacefully as his fingers gently caressed my fur. After a few minutes, I slid my arm over, resting it atop his leg as gentle as possible, slightly nervous about returning the favor. Aldrich squeezing my shoulder in an encouraging fashion, with the slowness of a snail. I caressed my hand over his leg, tracing back and forth over one small spot. Being able to pet him like this filled my heart with a new type of warmth, a kindling flame of desire. No, you moved the popcorn. Wait, was the popcorn in his lap before? Oh, it doesn't let me scroll back. Oh well, that's fine. Look, I tried, man. As the petting went on, my pants tightened, and yet I didn't try to close my legs to hide it, so I so often would have in the past. I let out a gasp as the shepherd's free hand came to rest atop my own, giving my paw a gentle squeeze, stroking the paw pad softly. I froze, and my eyes went wide as he pulled it gently, guiding it upwards, even closer to his thigh, stopping just shy of cupping his crotch. My paw felt locked in place on his thigh, the sole movement being that of my trembling at the thought of what Aldrich was offering. Despite everything that happened tonight, while sitting there in such a public space, I couldn't bring myself to cross the line. I couldn't cut the last strand of restraint and get over the risk of letting my fingers wander here and see what would come of it. I let my paw stay in that one spot and wordlessly went back to gentle petting, trying to will myself into feeling better about wimping out.
Hey, Cody! Don't stress, alright. In your own time.
Aldrich briefly leaned over and placed a kiss on my head, just between my ears. Excuse me. The intimate gesture made me feel flush with heat, and a shiver of excitement. The shepherd's words were whispered. His arms remained over my shoulder, still petting and caressing my arm. He didn't seem to be bothered by my hesitation. It was increasingly endearing relief to know that he would stand by his word and truly let me decide when and how to take things further. Now more than ever, I knew that the door was open for it, and I was sure the time to take this step was near. He took my paw and led me back towards the lobby, where Devin was drinking a slushie as he waited for us. It was just shy of 1 in the morning by the time we'd finally wrapped up our night on the town. To say I was exhausted would put it mildly. I leaned over and rested my head on the shepherd's shoulder as he drove, and Devin's whispered quiet, snoring let us, know he'd already fallen asleep against the door.
I hope you had fun tonight, Cody.
Yeah, a lot. Although I reckon I enjoyed being out in the forest with you a little bit more.
No, figured you would prefer the city over the woods.
I love New Orleans, truly. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't love going out into the bayou, traveling into the nature somewhere, more than doing stuff in the city. Aldrich shifts his weight a bit, wrapping his arm over me, letting my head lay more cozily on his chest. I could hear his steady breath and take in his comforting scent. Even when we was at summer camp, it hit my soul different. It was more than the friendship we forged. There was a magic to that place, a magic to nature. Never knowing what was around the next bend or
what grand, unfathomable majesty of Mother Nature we'd see next.
Aldrich tightened his grip a bit, scrunching? Scrunching. Okay. What he could reach out of my arm, letting his claws gently drag through the fur and across flesh, a sensation I was increasingly becoming addicted to.
The woods feel like the place I belong. Being out there, showing others the beauty, caring for the trails, protecting the balance. That's what I love.
Balance?
You'll probably think it's silly.
Aldrich chuckled a little, rubbing his hand up and down the length of my arm, shifting in his seat again as he kept driving. Will not. Tell me.
If you insist. Throughout history, Furkine has forged a path out in the world. It used to be our ancient ancestors worked with the land. They knew that the forest, rivers, plants could make their lives better, and would learn from the mistakes of asking too much of nature. A delicate balance was maintained between them taking care of their own needs, ensuring they never took more than necessary, and putting their own knowledge back into into nature to help her grow and flourish.
But we don't do that much nowadays, do we? Aldrich gave a solemn nod as I chimed in, turning off the highway as we reached the only exit, heading to Aspen Hollow.
We became a destructive force, stripping away everything, all in the name of expansion. That balance went away entirely with industrialization, capitalism.
Aldrich spoke with a deep gravitas to his words. I had only seen glimpses of this before, but hearing his impassioned belief laid bare like this made my heart swell. I could only admire Aldrich even more intensely, as his love for the wilds came out like exotic poetry.
But I want to bring it back. Or at the very least, inspire and urge in as many hearts as I can to respect what the Earth has given. Not just for us, but to all life.
That was not silly, Aldrich. It was beautiful, like you. The shepherd let out an approving growl, his quickening heartbeat filling my ears, though my attention was drawn away as we came to a stop outside a video den.
I'm looking forward to showing more of the gorgeous park in my, gorgeous little river dog.
To my gorgeous little river dog. Okay. Completely flushed, I followed him after he slid out of the truck and let me free. With both of us standing on the sidewalk, the shepherd pulled me into a hug. It was softer than usual, one of his paws caressing up and down the length of my back, while being held in a gentle embrace. After he finally released me, a loud, wanting whimper nearly escaped, but only a squeak managed to slip out. Aldrich barked playfully in response. The shepherd then placed a finger on my chin, a spark in his eyes as he lifted up my maw up, so it says. He himself leaned down. My heart was about ready to beat out of my chest as I realized. This is it. It's really happening. Time seemed to slow down once more. I could feel his breath on my face, how our own muzzles closed the distance. Barely an inch away, his eyes locked into mine, a mouth parting, the moist warmth of his exhaled breath filling my own muzzle as I opened expectantly. I was ready. Our muzzles were so close, and then the loud jarring of the truck door closing cut right through the moment, making me take a step back with haste. I looked down at the ground in shame, while Devin climbed out of the truck, oblivious to what he just interrupted. My eyes jumped back to Aldrich after finally glancing over at Devin. I was sure of what I saw in the shepherd's eyes. He was flustered by the missed opportunity at the Doberman who'd stolen our moment away. Certainly, he wasn't even remotely frustrated with me. I was being receptacle. I just got started and stepped back. That's all. I was sure of it in my heart. What does it even mean if Devin saw us kissing? I'd been honest all night, now. Good night, Aldrich. Dev. There was a notable lack of energy in my words, as I said good night to the pair, my mind still scrambling to justify my hesitation.
Sleep well when you do, Otter. Hey, so we're going to Full Fest, right?
Aldrich looked to be standing taller. No, excuse me. Not a chip off his shoulder, just that gorgeous smile and boundless enthusiasm.
Could we, treat it like a date, Cody?
Really? I'd love that.
Well, it's settled then. Now I'm looking forward to it even more.
Aldrich helped me pull my shopping item from the bed on the truck, before climbing back into the inn with a drowsy Devin. Carrying my bags inside as Aldrich drove off, I let them sit by the dresser, and not even bothering to unpack. Crawling into bed, I laid on one side, the same as the night we'd cuddled again, staring at the spot where Aldrich had been, picturing him looking back at me. A date? A real, actual date? Giggling a bit, I snuggled into my blanket, with renewed eagerness for Fall Fest to come. I won't waste the next chance. Nuzzling into my pillow, resolve in what both my heart and his desired, I drifted off to sleep. Oh, okay. Walking the old gravel path, I checked my watch once more, realizing how terribly late I was for the meetup. A fool for letting the dark room make time slip away. Rushing through the park, I finally caught sight of Tobin and Liam, the duo chilling under the shade of a weeping willow. What is this? Salute! Salute? You don't actually pronounce the T, right? Salute, Cody.
Oh, what took you so long?
Sorry, lost track of time while I was developing some film.
Hold up. What's that?
Liam reached his hand out and poked the silver stud in my right ear, as if to try and see if he wasn't seeing things. With attention drawn to it, Tobin's ears perked up. I thought it would look nice. What do you mean it would look nice? That's the queer place to pierce a guy. Well, yeah, I'm gay. I spoke my truth with casual confidence, only to be met with shocked faces and raised brows. Tobin even took a step back from me.
What are you talking about? You's been out with girls.
Say you're lying. Right now. I'm not. What? You mean you've been lying to us every day? What the fuck? Tobin and Liam's expression had morphed into those of anger. Betrayal. The gator balled a fist and threw a punch at me, sending me rushing to the grass, seeing spots in my eyes. Staggering to my feet, I stood alone in the humid, cold night of my neighborhood and started walking with hurried steps, looking into yards, over fences, whenever I could, hope to catch a trace of him. Billy? Where are you? I shakily cried out for him. Through the painful ache in my muzzle, the taste of blood fresh in my tongue, and the pounding of my head, conspiring together to make me stop. Street after street I walked, not caring that my bare feet grew bloody, or that the streets seemed to loop back into each other. I have to find him. Coming to a swift stop at the next turn in the road, I caught sight of a fox standing a short distance away. A street light overhead illuminated everything around the fox, save for the creature itself, casting him in an eerie void. Why didn't you stop him? Am I not good enough for you? You don't want to touch me like you do him? I tried. Isn't that enough? Heart pounding in my chest as I stared down the shadowy fox. I was too afraid to try to help him, to move at all. Look at yourself. Fucking pathetic. Just a coward who, once again, couldn't even take one step forward. Disgusting hypocrite. And you thought that cheap piece of silver would make it all better. Blood flew out of the fox's muzzle with every enraged word, spraying crimson into the night. Big, strong Cody, just bullshitting yourself like you always do. You left me to die. I'm not, it's not... The fox staggered toward me with a noticeable limp, one of his legs just being dragged along the ride, glassy, blank eyes staring me down. You're just a filthy fucking faggot like me. Ain't that right? Taking a step back, I closed my eyes, shaking, effectively rendering speechless by my inevitability to defend myself, ears lowered as a familiar soulful wail of agony filled them. Sitting upright in my bed with a loud gasp, the sheets covered in sweat, my eyes shot once to met with the darkness of my apartment. I rested a paw on my chest to feel my heart racing. Reaching up, I felt over the small piercing, the still tender flesh making me wince. With a heavy sigh, I laid back down, staring at Aldrich's pillow. What's wrong with me? Pulling the pillow he'd used against my chest, arms wrapped around tightly over it, seeking out the remnant of his scent, I had left my eyes closed and slowly but surely drifted off to an uneasy sleep. No, excuse me. I was awoken by a soft knocking at my apartment door just before 6. Dragging myself to my feet, I padded over, yawning wide as I opened the door. Well, okay, everyone, I'm gonna end the part here. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around.